Great decorating is all about the details, including a gorgeous textured set of coasters. How we love a coaster. Functional. And why not be beautiful? Quince has a gorgeous set of woven rattan coasters in 3 terrific colors with their own little holder that you're going to absolutely love. And if you haven't visited quince.com/DTT yet, get on over there. It's everyday elevated living without the markup. From crisp 100% linen bedding and soft organic cotton towels to airy curtains and premium kitchen tools designed for everyday use. And the best part? Like Quince's clothing, their home goods are half the cost of similar brands. By partnering with top artisans, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. Elevate your space with home essentials from Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. Hey everybody, I'm Kelly Wilkness here with Anita Joyce, and this is Decorating Tips and Tricks Plus. This is our first bonus episode that we're going to be bringing to you at the end of each month. Anita and I are just going to talk about a topic that's about decorating or design and something we know would be of interest to you. Just an opportunity to get together again with you and talk about things that we love and things of interest. To kick off the DTT Plus, where you get more of us, we are talking about Swedish death cleaning today. It is quite an interesting topic. Anita introduced me to it. I didn't know about it. So she's going to tell us a little bit about it, and then we're going to chat about it and give you some info about it.
So my journey with this whole Swedish death cleaning started with a traumatic experience looking in my mother's closet when we were visiting this summer. And it was so scary. There were so many clothes in there, so many things you couldn't see from one end to the other. And that closet is probably 15 feet long. It was so scary. And I was thinking, I don't want to deal with this when she passes on to heaven. And it got me thinking, I don't want Evie dealing with this when we die. And it just really got me thinking about all this, sentimental stuff that we have. And I started asking her, do you want this? Do you want this? And the answer was pretty much no on everything. And so I'm thinking, well, why are we keeping all of this stuff? It's just junking up my closet. Then I started looking online and finding this topic called Swedish death cleaning. And I realized that's what I had already started doing. And that is a type of decluttering where you are not just getting rid of extra stuff in your house, but you're kind of thinking about getting rid of things that you know your loved ones aren't going to want, cleaning out stuff so it's easier for them when you do pass on, and it's getting rid of a lot of sentimental stuff that you know they don't want and giving some things away and just kind of clearing out the extra stuff you're not using because stuff does accumulate over time.
So it's not purging all your IKEA stuff, which is what I first thought this whole topic was about. Okay.
Well, and you don't have to be dead to do it either, right? Or Swedish.
Well, it's hard to do it when you're dead. But, okay. So from what I'm gleaning from what you've told me and what I read is it's a decluttering of your life before you die, of course, to release the burden from your loved ones because maybe they're not going to want everything you thought was fabulous, right? And so it's a really loving thing to do. And it's not really a morbid thing. It's a good thing to think about and for people to help their older family members start to do.
Well, yes, all of that. And actually, I read that people tend to start doing it around 65. I am not 65, but I am thinking it is time to do it. And I know the nightmare of when my mother-in-law died, and she did not believe in getting rid of anything. And then people in my family felt like getting rid of any of her stuff was disrespectful. So I pretty much had to go in the dark of night and toss stuff. So, I think it is a burden. It can be a burden when someone dies and you are left with a house full of stuff when it's highly, highly cluttered. It is incredibly stressful cleaning it out when things aren't organized. And then, you don't know what anything is. And when there's just too much stuff, it is a massive burden.
Well, you know how I like to approach things. I always want to know, like, why and what and da-da-da.
Right.
So the Swedish thing, I was like, well, why is it Swedish? So somehow I missed this book coming out in 2017, but Margareta Magnusson, she's now 86, she authored this book, The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning. The reviews are fantastic. Not only does it help you get into the mindset or help your loved ones get in the mindset of doing this type of cleaning, purging things, and moving stuff on that other people aren't going to want. But apparently the book is also filled with a lot of wisdom. The woman's lived a long, really interesting life. So I think it would be a great read as well. So we can link that in the show notes to today's episode, The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning. So she coined the term.
Where I found out about it was from the YouTube channel of Shannon Torrens, and she started doing this with her mother. You and I are collectors, but I don't feel like we're sentimental about stuff. I've sold so much of my stuff, given away so much of my stuff. I don't mind getting rid of stuff, but some people really have a very difficult time doing that.
Well, I watched the video that you told me about. And then, as I said, I did a little bit more research on it. And what really struck me is that if you think about all the personal things you might be keeping, diaries, letters, maybe people journal and they might write things about family members in moments that might not be as kind. There are a lot of things people have that will be left behind that other people will be looking at and reading and maybe not feeling so good about that person after having read what they wrote about them years ago when they were in an argument. All these things can be in someone's home too. And I think this is a big part of this Swedish death cleaning. It's not just our normal decluttering, which we are fanatical about, and organization, which we just absolutely love. It goes further. It's the really personal items, and that they encourage you not to start with the really sentimental personal items. Start with the clothing. Like you mentioned in the top of the episode about your mother's and the clothing, or even your own closet and clearing things out. But then do work to these sentimental things. But, I was thinking about, gosh, letters I have from college. I know they're in a trunk somewhere. All these things that I don't know. Do I want other people reading those when I'm gone? I should read them one more time before I make that decision.
Well, that's what I was saying. I said, we need to get rid of all of our letters to each other because I really don't want someone else reading those. Not that there's anything, I don't know, too weird in there, but it's just personal. I don't know. It just feels like it's, these are heartfelt letters, love letters, and I don't want just anybody reading those. But here's the weird thing. Speaking of these letters, so my mother-in-law never got rid of a letter ever, which was a whole nother topic. But she had kept some money in the house. She had always told us, my father-in-law and my mother-in-law, hey, there's some cash in the house. It's in this place. If something happens to us, don't forget to get the cash. It's right here. It was told to us over and over again. We knew where the cash was. So when she passed away, I made sure, we got the cash from the place she said. But when we opened it up, here's the weird thing. There was a letter in with the cash. It was a letter from her to her husband before they were married, basically turning down his proposal. Why was that in with the money?
She wanted you to know.
She wanted us to know, but felt like she couldn't tell us. And I thought that was very weird. And there's a lot of pictures of her with somebody else. And I think it's like 6 months before the wedding. And I'm like, what the what?
Whoa.
I know. Very, very odd. And then I found another letter from her father telling her, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if you marry Dan, I think he'd make a great husband, who became her husband. Oh. So clearly clearly she was kind of thinking, and reading all this actually explained a lot to me because he treated her like a queen. And I thought, why do you treat her like such a queen? I mean, I thought maybe she knew where the bodies were buried and maybe that's why. But apparently it was kind of like, okay, if I marry you, I will treat you like a queen for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And he did. And he did.
He did. Oh my gosh. That is so interesting. Okay. So I'm sure we've got everyone thinking now, like, what letters do I have somewhere
you
in
better
my
go
house?
look through them.
Or, wow, I want to get to my mother or my mother-in-laws and see what's going on over there. But it's all just things to start to think about. Just like we want to, declutter on a regular basis and all this. This is something that's really important. And you might have someone in your life, like, I think, dare I say, Anita, your mother, my mother-in-law, who has been she's been getting ready to have a yard sale for like 25 years. And she's collecting things.
That ain't happening.
Bringing them up from the basement. Yeah, I know. Like, should I make the signs this week? When are we going to do it? And she's forever working on paperwork. I don't know how this woman could have this much paperwork. My mother is the totally other end of the spectrum. And, my parents are still very active. They play golf. They do all this stuff. It's not like my mother is like sitting in a chair waiting to pass away. They're in great health, but she's just such an organizer.
She sounds very organized.
Oh, yes, Anita. Last time I visited her, my mom, can I say this? My father calls it her orange crap. It's all this amber, depression wear glass that she had collected.
Wow.
So he calls it her orange crap. So she said, this is where I keep what your father calls all my orange crap. And she has a whole closet full of it. And it's all labeled. And there's there's a piece of paper towel in between each one of the plates.
Well, the good news is you just need to contact an amber collector when your mother does eventually go to heaven. And they can just clean out the whole closet. And I found a stack of baseball cards and I thought, get rid of them. Oh, no, there could be, a 1 in a million in there.
A Mickey Mantle in there. But what I'm saying about my mother is at least it's all very organized. It's very clean. I mean, you can eat off those plates. So it's not, but some people, it's just a catastrophe. I mean, you'll be climbing through their stuff for days, weeks.
Right. But so what you're saying is it's not going to be stressful for you walking in. If you did want to sell it, it's all organized. It's easy to see what it is. There may even be notes with it. But
not the kind of notes you read, I hope.
No, I don't think those kind. And, but I'm trying to get rid of stuff that Evie might feel like, oh, I have to keep this because this is sentimental. But, a lot of my dishes and things, I have a lot of, French dishes, English dishes that are worth money. She just needs to, if she doesn't want them, she just needs to find someone who sells that stuff. And I'm sure they'll buy the whole lot. I have told her over and over again, you do not have to keep my stuff.
Right.
You do not feel stressed by this stuff. Sell whatever it is you don't want or give it away. I just don't care. But my mother-in-law actually told me on her deathbed, literally, she told me, keep my best stuff.
That damn piano you had to have.
And the piano, we had it I kept it for a year. I said, if it's not played, it's going. And it wasn't played. Yeah. And I'm like, look, I kept my dad's watch. Like, it's not equivalent to a piano that's not being played.
Hey, we'll be right back with the rest of the show, but keep listening so we can continue bringing you DTT. I can't stop using dupe.com. This is an amazing website, service, best friend. I absolutely love it. So you find something that you really want and it's too expensive. It's a budget buster. Then you use dupe.com and you can find almost the exact thing or very similar products for much less. So I was crushing on this incredibly gorgeous coffee table. I had it in my mind. I had it in my Pinterest boards. I had it everywhere, but I just didn't have it in my house because it was too expensive. When I learned about dupe.com, that was the first product that I tested. And boy, did I find some amazing dupes. And I purchased one. So the original was almost $3,000. And Dupe showed me many choices, all the way down to under $200. Now, you may think something this extraordinary is hard to use, but it's so easy. Just type dupe.com/ before any product URL in your browser, and boom, it instantly finds you less expensive alternatives. They even have an app and a browser extension you can download. No account required, no sign up required. It's completely free. That's completely free free to use. Stop wasting your money on brand names and start saving with dupe.com today. A quote to keep in mind if you're going to undertake this Swedish death cleaning, and you can change the name if you want. This is just the name that Margareta gave it, and it stuck, is think of this. Will anyone be happier if I save this? Because this isn't we're not talking about something that's being done after the person's already gone. I mean, that's hard enough. That's kind of, what Anita's talking about.
But in some ways easy. In some ways easy because you can do what you want. There's not someone, standing in front of the closet door saying, don't take anything out of here.
Right, but I feel like this whole undertaking is supposed to be done when the person's still there, right? It's them deciding to do, right? It's not like you deciding for them or deciding after they're gone. So that's, like the video you shared, and we can link that too. She was, helping her mother, and her mother was very much alive and very, very funny lady. And so everybody might enjoy that video too. But keep in mind, will anyone be happier if I save this? And even if you loved it, the people in your family, are they going to want that French dish? Are they going to want that G.I. Joe box? What are they going to want? Probably not a lot, right? So a loved one wishes to inherit nice things from you, but not all things from you. That's a direct quote from the book.
That's a good one.
So what you're going to be thinking about is keep that idea in mind. It's not, does it spark joy? That's a whole different thing, right? This is, will anybody be happier if I save this, right? And don't think about it as a morbid thing. As we said with this video, they were having fun together. My mother and I laugh about, does anyone want the Hummels? Like, she knows I talk about the Hummels and that I don't want them. And I say I'm going to put them all up for adoption and, all of that. The little German people are going to go. But it doesn't have to be a grim end of life task. It's fun to go through things and think about them and maybe look at them for, one more time. And then, have that question in your mind, does anybody really want this? Is it time to go? Because your life, when you get to that age, or if you're helping someone who's at that age, will be more pleasant if they're not burdened with all this stuff. I talk to my mother-in-law every week, and she's always moving one thing from one side of the house to the other house. She's making piles for this yard sale that never happens. She's doing paperwork. I don't know how much paperwork she could have, but it always seems like it's a big burden.
Yeah.
And so it'd be nice to unburden her. Let her, just have to do paperwork on Labor Day weekend, which she was doing. Like, go out for a walk, go see your friends. But she's trying to clear this stuff up. But she kind of really doesn't want any help, because I have offered. But if somebody is open to it and they want the help, this is a great thing to introduce, and maybe just leave the death word out when you suggest it to them.
Well, and when we were cleaning out my mother's shop, which is like a little barn, basically, as we were carrying things out to the road to be hauled off, I found a little vision of my little mother hunched over, carrying things back into the shop. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh, no, she was bringing them back.
Yes. And I'm like, what are you doing? Stop it. You're not going to. Well, she was going to have a garage sale. She said it was worth money. She was going to have a garage sale. Then later I asked her, how's the garage sale coming? She said, well, I can't do a garage sale. And I'm like, really? Okay. And then, but my brother wanted her china cabinet. I was like, give him your china cabinet. Enjoy the fact that he wants it. And
yes.
No, she wouldn't do it.
Oh, she wouldn't do it?
No,
because that's part of this too. And this is what Margareta talks about in some of the snippets I read of the book, is that you then, as the person, the older person, has the opportunity to enjoy seeing your child or your grandchildren.
Right. Yes.
Loving and using what you loved and what you gave to them while you're still alive.
That's absolutely true. And I've been going through and finding things from Evie's childhood and saying, because I'm thinking, it just is going to go to her when I die. So I was like, do you want this? 90% of the time, the answer is no. One thing you can do is do a memory box. And I think that's what we're going to do. I had done this when the kids were little, but I think I'm going to have to institute it for other members of my family. And that is anything you want to save, you put in this box. But when it's full, it's done. You're done. Now, If you find something important that needs to go in that doesn't fit, then you take something else out so that it's just one tub. And I think that is something that's really helpful. And if you do find you have a lot of stuff, then get a tub out. I guess get as big a tub as you can get if you want a lot. But once it's full, that's it.
Don't tell Kevin he can have as big a tub as he wants. He's going to get a refrigerator box because he likes to keep things too. I think you need to pick the box out.
No, I'm telling anybody who's listening. He'll never listen to this. So I actually have a tub that he can use, but it only fits in the garage. It is a garage tub, and it's only out there. So that's right. But I was able, like I said, to make some progress there. So I'm very excited. It may not even be something sentimental, but just too much clutter. It's just too much stuff in a drawer. It's going to be stressful for you. I mean, honestly, I'm enjoying this so much, not just thinking about Evie later, but I'm finding that I can open a drawer, and immediately see what is in there without moving stuff around. And that's making my life a lot less stressful.
And that's absolutely wonderful. And you're going to be living for a very, very, very long time. And so why not be de-stressed now? But if there's anybody that people have in their lives that could use this is a wonderful technique and can be approached gently and suggested that you would help them do this. And I think it can make the person's life so much easier. I'm sure it becomes overwhelming as you get much older just to even have to deal with all this stuff, all this shuffling around. Even if it is just a lot of extra Costco stuff or whatnot. But I think the heart of this Swedish death cleaning has a lot to do with the sentimental items, the items that people are holding on to that they think somebody else is going to want. Now, let's just say there's a lot going on in that, right? Because do they really think somebody's going to want it, or is it just it's so important to them they're not ready to let go of it? So is there a little bit of a holding on or an ego or something in keeping the item and being so confident that somebody else is going to want it? That's something that person has to work through.
I think, Kelly, honestly, it had never occurred to me to even think about, does someone want it? Does someone not want it? I have a few things, not many. And then, like I said, we do have things from my in-laws. It just hadn't even occurred to me to even think about, does Evie want this? When it because some of this stuff we've had for a long time. But when I kind of sat down and thought, wait a minute, is she going to want this stuff? I know where she lives. I know how much room she has. I know what she likes and doesn't like. That's when it hit me. She doesn't want this stuff. Mm-hmm. And then that was kind of what was freeing to go, because I felt like, I kind of needed to keep some of this stuff. And now I don't. Yeah, because even I felt like, well, some of the stuff we should keep. But now I'm like, no, she's going to toss it. So it's cluttering my closet now. It's not going to clutter her. So why do I even have it?
Right. Yeah. So I think it's a really good exercise to go through for yourself or in preparation or with somebody else. It really got me with the truly sentimental items and then thinking about, which didn't even dawn on me, like, I've been going through photo albums lately, all the photo albums, all the letters. I have scrapbooks that I made all through high school, all through college, from my trip through Europe, all that. I think I should get eyes on that one more time before somebody else would look at that.
Yeah, you'd better look at it. Well, and if you enjoy looking at it, there's, like I said, there's a few things that even I have kept from my childhood, but it's kind of in one box about the size of a shoebox.
Yeah.
And so I do enjoy looking through there, but I've culled out a lot of stuff. And, like I had a stack of our extra wedding invitations, maybe 100 of them. So I'm thinking, okay, 3 or 4, that's really all I need.
Yeah, 100 you don't need, unless you're going to have another wedding, which, could be fun. It's a really interesting topic to discuss. I'm so glad you suggested this one. And what I took away from this whole thing, it's a paring down of the clutter and then surrounding yourself with the most meaningful essentials. Not only making life easier for you, but then later on, it's making it easier for your loved ones. And it gives you an opportunity to live a more purposeful life in the present moment, right? Without all the stuff. I encourage everyone to get her book because she just sounds like an amazing lady anyway, and it's a short little read. So put it in your Amazon cart or go to your local independent bookstore, even better, and see if they carry it or can get it for you. It's The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning.
On that note, I think we'll end today's episode, our first DTT Plus episode. So remember, we're here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
Want to talk to us? Well, we really want to talk to you. So let's schedule a design consult. Anita and I are here to give you individualized, actionable advice on how to create the beautiful home you want and deserve. It's so easy to schedule a design consult with us. Simply click the link in the show notes or head to decoratingtipsandtricks.com/consult. When we talk to you on the scheduled time, we will be ready with so many great tips, advice, and yes, tricks. So sign up today for a design consult. We can't wait to talk to you.